As Earl Nightingale said, we become what we think about. And that's an idea that I want you to hold firmly in your mind. That's something that I really want you to internalize. I really want you to stop right now. Whatever you're doing, I want you to stop, lean into this video and listen to what I'm saying. You will become what you think about. Really think about that for a second, as if it wasn't just a phrase, as if it's more than just words, as if it were a truth about how the brain works, because it is. You're going to become the thing that you think about. And I know that you're dwelling on a lot of negative shit. I know that you're carrying a lot of baggage with you. And I know that as you think about how things might go wrong, that you believe to the core of your being that you're just planning for the hard times. But the truth is, you're going to become those things that you fear. You're going to become the things that you dread. If you're thinking about all the things that you've done wrong in the past, you are going to simply continue that cycle. But if, on the other hand, and let this be true, let this ring in your ears with the weight of everything that I carry, if I've ever added an ounce of value to you, if anything I have ever said has seemed remotely true, believe that these are the most important words I'm ever going to say to you. If you begin to focus on positive things, if you begin to focus on your capabilities, if you begin to focus on the potential that you have, if you really dig in, build those skills, drive towards something beautiful, something amazing, something that leaves you in awe, that you want to create, that you want to become the vessel for that, then you will become that thing, because you will take those steps, because you become what you think about. And as Mark Twain said, 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do. So if you don't take those steps, if you don't focus on those things, if you don't manifest what you want to become, if you don't believe in it, if you don't see how real it could be, if you can't picture the version of yourself that you want to become, and even though people have told you that it's not possible for you, that the things you did in the past are never going to allow you to do that, that you're not smart enough, if you let that creep into your mind, then that's what's going to happen. But if you can see that vision, if you can allow yourself to believe it, then you're going to take the steps that you need to execute against that. And if you go out there and do those things, you won't regret it, but you will regret it if you don't. So get out right now and build the person you want to be so you can have the life you want to have.
Almost everything you do from the time you get up in the morning is habit. So start to think about yourself. What would be the best habits to have?
A starting ritual is a repeated behavior that you adopt in order to trigger a new habit.
When you wake up in the morning, say thank you for grace. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for prosperity. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours.
The secret of success is determined by your daily agenda. What you want to be tomorrow, you've got to do today.
Have goals, life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals, and understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline, which you have already done, and consistency every day, not just on Tuesday and miss a few days. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan. Working really hard is what successful people do.
Your footprints to success are really footprints of success. Because every step that is made and taken based upon the goals that you have for your life, every step is the progressive realization of success in your life.
Good habits are hard to form, but easy to live with. Bad habits are easy to form, but hard to live with. So the rule is form good habits and make them your masters.
Habits come down to one golden rule, and that's this: you can never change the things that trigger you. You can't control your urges or how you might feel, but you can always choose how you behave. If you want to break a habit, once you have a habit, it's always going to be encoded in your brain. The only way that you can break it is to replace it with new behavior.
This means when you go to sleep at night, think about your goals for the coming day. Make a list for each day of all the goals, the little goals you're going to accomplish that day. Keep a journal and write down your goals on a regular basis. You see, you do become what you think about most of the time. You do achieve what you think about most of the time. So all successful people and all wealthy people think about their goals most of the time.
The things that get scheduled are the things that get done, and vague goals lead to vague results.
Have you ever noticed how hard it is to just get started? How hard it is to get to the gym? How hard it is to get out of bed? You need activation energy to start the chain, to start to sit down, to start to get out of bed, to start to walk out the door. That's the key to creating any kind of change. This activation energy inside of you that causes the initial boom. And then what do we hear over time? Once you start, there's a chain reaction, and that allows you to keep going.
Self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. You see, anybody can do it if they feel like it. It's when you don't feel like it and you do it anyway that you eventually develop the self-discipline that makes everything else possible.
Discipline is not punishment. It's not. Discipline is training. If you change your mind, your mindset, and really focus it on what discipline really is, you start to welcome discipline. You welcome self-discipline into your life.
You're not only going to blow up the system in your head and the tricks that your brain uses to stop you right now, you're going to shake up your entire life.
Discipline is your best friend. It will take care of you like nothing else can.
Remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress.
And we do live in a world where there's such a fascination with entertainment. You know, and everyone loves pretty pictures. And it's really easy to spend the best hour of your best days looking at what your friends are eating. And I'm suggesting to you, you think like a student. Because you're watching this mastery session because something deep within you wants you to be the master of your game. And here's the thing about every master. Every master thinks like a beginner. They're always learning.
Anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
Make today count.
Success or failure as a human being is not a matter of luck or circumstance or fate or the breaks or who you know or any of the other tiresome old myths and cliches by which the ignorant tend to excuse themselves. It's a matter of following a common sense paradigm of rules, guidelines anyone can follow.
You have something unique and amazing to offer to the world that nobody else can do. It is your job. The purpose of your life is to figure out who you are. And the way that you do that is you tune out. You tune out the world and you tune in here. Yeah, you got to go read. You got to go read. You got to watch a ton of videos. You got to tune into this show every week. You've got to explore. You've got to experience. You got to fail. But then you've always got to calibrate it against what are your instincts saying? What energizes you? What depletes you? It's really that simple. Follow the things that energize you. Follow the things that you're naturally curious about. You are not only unique. I think you're a bloody miracle, the fact that you were born who you were born.
The way you begin each day sets up the way you live each day. I mean, the Spartan warriors said it so well. Sweat more in training, bleed less in war. And if you want to be literally undefeatable in business, literally unstoppable in life, you really want to dial in your morning routine. And so you want to do things like starting the day sweating, because that releases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, that repairs brain cells from stress. You want to sweat because that's going to increase your metabolic rate, which is going to give you energy. And we live in a world where energy is even more valuable than intelligence. You want to, in your morning routine, take the time to write in a journal so you actually can detect your values, reconnect with your goals each day, because awareness is the beginning of transformation.
Aristotle said you are what you repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence ought to be a habit, not an act. Don't ever forget that.
It's not what you do once every year that is going to allow you to live a legendary life. It's what you do every single day.
Whatever your goal or dream is, my friend, you need other people to know about that dream. They should know what you're trying to accomplish, why you're trying to accomplish, how you're trying to accomplish it, when you're trying to accomplish it, and exactly what you are willing to do to accomplish it.
One of the things that we have to do as we're pursuing our dreams and our goals is that we have to know that failure is not an option. You know, and you got to hear this one. This one is important because you've got to tell yourself, despite, again, the circumstances, the situations, you have to tell yourself that, listen to me, I'm not going anywhere until I get the goal. Like, until I make my dreams become a reality, I'm not quitting. I don't care how much money I have to invest. I don't care how much time I have to invest. I'm going to continue to do this until I become successful.
The number one thing that's going to change your life, the only thing that will change your life, change your business, change your money, change your relationship, is you must raise your standard.
We become our standards in many ways. If you are surrounded by B players or average performers, and that is your standard, then your mindset will operate at the standard that is offered to you by the people around you. I mean, we do become our social orbit.
Everyone in the world has a list of things they think they should do. I should lose weight. I should work out. I should spend more time with my kids. I should work harder. I should make more calls. I should. What changes people is when your should becomes a must. When suddenly the thing you said should happen has to happen. That's when human beings change.
To have the results of a game changer, you need to start thinking and behaving like a game changer. And that means thinking like a game changer, populating your mindset with the best books, with the best ideas, with the best conversations, behaving in ways that most people don't behave. Again, you want to have the results very few people have, you've got to start doing things that very few people do. Turn off the television, delete the naysayers, stop gossiping and start producing, eat better food, run longer runs, shift from a focus on what's not working to a focus on what's working. I mean, you really want to install a whole new series of mindsets and a whole new series of rituals that very few people are doing.
Every day we put in place actions and ideas that will determine the shape and substance of our tomorrows.
You will receive from the world who you become. But the doorway to success, I suggest to you, swings inward, not outward. And the best way to have a game-changing life, and the best way to have a world-class lifestyle, and the best way to change the world is to change yourself. I mean, we get from life who we become.
Nothing can change until we do. When we change, our worlds will change.
All of us in life have things we want. We don't get what we want. We get what we have to have. When you're no longer willing to tolerate something, that's when your life changes.
As soon as a person begins to change, his or her surroundings will change. And it works like this. Great attitude, great results. Good attitude, good results. Fair or average attitude, fair or average results. Poor attitude, poor results. When you begin to develop a better attitude, you should realize that you've already placed yourself in the top 5% of the people, the most successful people on earth. You've placed yourself on the road to what you seek. You've prepared the ground. You've only to plant the seed.
Don't let fear hold you back from doing what you truly love. Commit to your vision and be the CEO of your future.
Narrow your focus to one idea, one, and make it work. That will give birth to all the others.
Ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started.
No idea works unless you have the courage to do the work. Ideation without execution is delusion.
I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's what I cared about. I cared about solving problems, being successful. Anytime an obstacle presented itself, I used it to my advantage and made it work.
In the end, luck plays a very important part in how successful you are, but the harder you work and the longer you work, the luckier you're going to be.
Develop the habits. You've got the brain power, you've got the energy, but develop the habits of success.
I've always thought that each person invented himself for whatever reasons, through whatever circumstance, through whatever he has gone through, that we are each a figment of our own imagination.
If you feel you have something to give, if you feel that your particular talent is worth developing, is worth caring for, then there's nothing you can't achieve.
Don't allow anyone to tell you that what you are dreaming for yourself and your family is not possible. It is possible.
So just go and do it, try, learn from it. You'll fail at some things. That's a learning experience that you need so that you can take that on to the next experience. And don't let people who you may respect and who you believe know what they're talking about, don't let them tell you it can't be done. Because often they will tell you it can't be done, and it's just because they don't have the courage to try it.
I just did a podcast on habits, right? How to be able to adopt new habits and also delete and get rid of, break bad habits, right? And so a lot of people always want to usually make a change on behavior. They want to get themselves to work out. They want to get themselves to meditate. They want to get themselves to read more each day. They want to get themselves to X, right? Or they want to stop some behavior. They want to stop smoking. They want to stop eating this food. They want to stop, I always tell people, stop checking your phone the first hour of the day.
I love that.
And that's like sacred time for me, because I think that if you want to be an elite mental performer or, real life superhero, you don't want to start out by checking the phone. We talked about this in the past because you're training yourself to be reactive, right? You're getting your dopamine, you're frying your nervous system with all these likes, shares, comments, and everything else like that.
You've said, if I'm not mistaken, you sell your sovereignty.
We do.
If you start by checking your phone. I love that so much.
Because you're reacting and firefighting to everyone's everything that everyone wants. So you're not really you're not living, you've heard this many times, right? If you want to, you win the first hour of the day to win the rest, you win the day, right? And so anything you want to stop, so like say you want to stop checking your phone, right, in the morning, then there's certain, that's a behavior, right? But there's so many other elements to be able to change because most behaviors don't stick, right? And so when I'm thinking about when I want to transform or transcend or make a real positive change, I'm looking at all the other areas of ourself. So I'm looking at, for example, our environment. Are people setting up their environment to win? So change doesn't just happen at this level of behavior, but you have to change the environment. So for example, if you want to stop eating a certain food, it helps to be able to have not have that food in your home, right? So you change the environment. If you want to read more, it helps to help set up your environment where you have the books readily available, where you're going to read it because they perform, how I approach habit change is this area of motivation and this trigger, right? You want to trigger it to help remind you to do the behavior, right? So are you setting up the environment in a way that triggers the behavior that you want? That's why, people like Mark Zuckerberg or Tony Hsieh, they wear the same t-shirts and sweatshirts all the time because they don't want to spend, use up one of their decisions thinking, oh, what am I going to wear today? Someone's watching this and they have a thing something they want to change, and it's not sticking. Then maybe it's the environment. Maybe you could check about your habits, but maybe it's your beliefs and your values. Some people will not get themselves to read every day because they don't value reading every single day, right? Some people won't, let's say the behavior they want to change is, we did a podcast on how to remember names. I could teach them step by step on how to remember the name of most people that they meet, yet they won't do it because they don't value it, or because that's not important to them, or they don't believe that they can, right? Just like we talked about earlier, saying your brain is like a supercomputer, and your self-talk is a program to run. So if you tell yourself not go to remembering names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your supercomputer not to. They don't have a belief that enables that. So when I say all behavior is belief-driven, if you want to do this behavior, whatever it is, journal, whatever it is, then you need a belief that allows that to happen because that's the program that allows it.
So how do you get that belief? Because you're going to feel like you're faking it.
Right.
And that's where most people stop, right? They think, okay, I get it. I hear what Jim is saying, that if I am able to shift my belief, then I can get a different behavior, but I don't believe it. Yeah. So now I'm just sort of faking it. How do you help people overcome that?
Right. And so, so some people approach it like, this quote where they fake it till they make it, right? So my thing with belief is, like when I do trainings in groups or online, my favorite way of changing a belief is getting them to do something they never thought they could do, because it opens up another possibility.
Like what?
So for example, in 1954, Roger Bannister, he broke the 4-minute mile, right? And so, which is amazing, right? Throughout human history, nobody could run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Now, if you look into it, how he was able to do it is he would visualize himself crossing the finish line, looking at the clock, and it says 3:59, because he knew that success is an inside-out process. That first it had to happen in here in order for it to happen out there, right? Dr. Wayne Dyer has a famous phrase where it's not, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. It's like, I'll see it when I believe it, right? Because it's the opposite, right? And so I always like modeling the outliers where most people kind of dismiss them. I was like, well, what's going on there that allows this person to get this kind of result, right? And so with Roger Bannister, he saw it in here, be able to produce it outside, just like any innovator or inventor or writer or any creator, right? But what was interesting is, after that, what happened? Nobody could do it from the beginning of humanity. All of a sudden, one person does it. What happens after that? Everyone starts doing it. And so that's the thing. Now, what happened? Was there a big change that year in, training methodology and nutrition? Or no, it was a change of belief, right? Because the belief back then was, if you ran a mile in less than 4 minutes, not only would you die, it was your heart would explode in your chest. And think about that would, and I'm a runner, right? That would keep me not just running, that wouldn't keep me from running a 4 minutes, that would keep me from running, period. Right? And so my thing is that was a change of a reference. That shook up a belief. So my goal with people when it comes to learning is get themselves to do something they never thought they could do. And then it opens up another possibility. It literally opens up their nervous system for something, what else could be possible. Now, I would also say that it all plays together where it's not easy necessarily just to change a belief overnight. Now that could be a belief because it's like a meta belief about what beliefs are. But people, there's technologies like Inception, right? Like a dream of a dream of a dream. But I do believe that we have more power to influence our thoughts and our beliefs. And so my goal is to streamline my life, put the routines, the first hour of the day and the last hour of the day, I really micromanage to the point where it's habitual. I don't even have to think about it. And then, because those are the times of the day where I could really have the most impact, because later on in the middle of the day, team members need this, there's firefighting this, client needs that. But the first hour, the last hour, I really want to control. So all this really helped develop grit and resilience, in my body, so I could have the ability to persevere. And also, I stand guard to my brain all the time, what goes in. I don't watch a lot of the negative news and all the marketing. I really focus, I watch and I listen to your show and maybe a handful of little things I read each day because I need to keep it positive. I want hope and I'm looking for help. I'm looking for inspiration and also instruction.
All right, listen and listen well, because no truer words are ever going to be spoken. You can do anything you want without limitation. Whatever it is that you decide you want to make come true in your life, you can do that. It is going to take an inhuman amount of work. You're going to have to be prepared to break yourself in half. You are going to have to learn more than anyone has ever learned. You're going to have to push yourself harder than anyone has ever asked you to push yourself before. You're going to go way beyond your breaking point. You're going to run until you vomit. You're going to study until you fall asleep. You're going to push and push and push, and then you're going to push some more. And when you hit the limit, you're going to push again beyond that. You're going to force yourself into an adaptation response. And why? Because as Malcolm X said, the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So if you don't put the work in today, if you don't do the unending, back-breaking work of developing yourself into something greater, the world is going to pass you by. The people that are going to own it are going to be the ones that did that work. And the one promise that I can make you right now is that somebody out there is outworking you. Somebody right now is doing the things that I'm saying. Somebody right now is doing the work of failing and getting up and getting better and pushing themselves and triggering that glorious adaptation response that makes humans the apex predator. Someone right now, they're putting in that work. And if you don't, the future is going to belong to them. And as Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. It's not okay to make excuses. It's not going to slow people down. It's not okay to ask the world to stop so that you can step out front. It's not okay to expect little of yourself and demand great rewards. The only thing that's okay is to be in line with the way that the world really works. And if you want to be great, you've got to become capable of greatness. You've got to develop your skill set. You've got to take what you have now, and if that's crawling, then crawl, but you drag yourself ever forward to a vision of yourself that is so clear and so specific that nothing could knock you off your path, because you, my friend, know exactly where you're going. You're willing to pay whatever price it takes to get there. And no matter what anybody says, no matter how many hecklers come for you, no matter how many people try to throw dirt on you, try to stop you, try to knock you down, no matter how many people come for you at night while you sleep, you will rise and you will keep pushing forward and you will get better every day. And no matter how many times people chop at you, knock you down, knock you off the path, you will get back on. You will crawl till you can walk, you will walk till you run, and then you will run until you fly. And that, my friends, is the only path forward. So if you want a future that makes you happy, if you want a world that you're excited about, get your ass out there and earn it.
What now? What will you do now? Your life is what it is, period. No complaining, no adjusting to reality, no lying, no hiding, and no closing your eyes and wishing it to go away will change that. You failed. You made mistakes. You have regrets. Not everything turned out okay. Your life sucks, and you cannot change that anymore. It's too late. You had the opportunity to change it. You did. Over and over and over again. You were given one opportunity after another to make a difference in your life. But right now, you're where you are. For better or for worse, you're stuck here. You cannot go back. You cannot reset. You cannot restart. You cannot just start over anymore. So, what will you do? Will you stay stuck? Will you stay unfulfilled, unwanted, and unhappy? Will you leave your life the way it is? Or will you move on to greater things? Will you power through the difficult times? Will you hustle more than you did before? And will you push yourself to stand up once more? What will you do now? Yes, your life may be shit, but who gives a shit about that? Yes, you've had difficult times, but so did we all. Yes, the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows, but it is that way for everyone. And yes, you will get hurt again. But that does not mean your life has to stay this way. It doesn't have to stay shit. It doesn't have to stay difficult. It doesn't have to stay hard. And it doesn't have to stay painful. You can do something about it right now. But you can't do it if you keep complaining. If you move on, if you do something different today, if you push more today than you did yesterday, and if you try to be more than you were yesterday, then and only then will things change. Each and every one of us has had moments where we cried out in despair, where we were so afraid at some point that we cowered underneath the blankets, wishing all the problems and fears of the world to go away once we stand up again. But they never did. We've all wished for a sign to magically appear that will tell us what to do, where to go, and who to be. That someone had some direction for us, that someone told us what would be next when we were lost in the darkness. But no sign ever came. And we all wished that somehow, somewhere, we would reach a place where all the problems and fears would just disappear. Where nothing would be bad anymore. A place of passion, success, and happiness that would never make us face our fears again. That would never make us feel pain again. But we haven't reached that yet. Your life does not shift when you turn on the TV. It doesn't change when you sleep it over. And it won't transform if you just sit idly by and wait for something to happen. It won't change like that. There will be no signs and there will be no one to tell you what to do. This is your life. And the only thing that will ever make a difference is if you stand up and move another step forward. When you fight the odds again, when you don't give in to fear, and when you stand up to face life one more day. And it all depends on what you decide right now. You can decide to listen to another speech after this. You can decide to play another game or watch another show. And you can decide to keep looking for an easy way out. To keep wasting time and keep wondering on how you got here. Or you can decide to get off your ass and make a change. Because once you do make that change, that's when your life will transform. That is the way to reach success. That is the way to reach a greater life. That is the way to make your dreams come true. Make a change by getting up right now, by facing all your fears and all your problems, and by moving through them anyway. It won't be fucking easy all the time. You will be afraid, and you will make mistakes. But you have better things to do than be stopped by fear. You have a greater life to live than the one you are living right now. You have the calling to make your life the best that you can make it. Because you deserve it. So get off your ass. Live the life you always wanted. Take a step forward right now. And change your life.
It's worth it to fight through it. It's hard, but it's worth it.